Gotcha.
Yeah. So right now I'm earning 304%. I would earn 2,300 a month. Who cares about this though? Honestly, like
Yeah, no, you can't. You can't
I,
even look at that. Yeah.
I'm looking at, okay, I'm just holding Bitcoin. Let's say I'm holding like one Bitcoin and I take point 0.1 and I do this with it. Even if immediately the price drops down to 86, I'm going to gain a 1.5. Now, if the price goes up, all I have to do is just play with this number. How many days? Ooh, I lose. 5 days is how long I have to stay in range to like break even on the number of Bitcoin, or actually the amount, my P&L, like my amount that I enter with. Because see right here, I enter with 9,167. In order to beat that, I have to stay in range at least 5 days. And I can play with this. What if I'm in range 10 days? Look at that. I'm going to beat it by 4.5%. I will accumulate 10% more Bitcoin. I almost want it to go low. I almost want it to come down here and then just rebalance again and
Is that
hope it goes low
calculating
again.
being is that calculating being paid in half Bitcoin?
It is not. It's assuming that when I exit the position, which I can do with DeFi Tuna, I can set limits to exit the
Just swap
position.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, when the price goes to 86,000, convert to Bitcoin.
I
When the
mean, but
price
wouldn't
goes
you
to
want to know what
90,000.
your gain in Bitcoin would be? I guess you could just take the number and split it in half and you would know.
Yeah, I mean that would be great. The thing is right now there's no easy button for that because it's telling me this. It's only telling me the yield in USDC. And that's at Bitcoin's current price, which right now is 90,178. So, we could adjust this 90,178. Yeah, close enough. Yeah. So
So
essentially what
you
I'm looking
know.
for, guys, is as the price goes down, I don't want to be directional like you're saying, David. I want to
Mhm.
just use a tool that will tell me, and I can do it for ETH, for Sol, for JLP. I'll put this in the chat, but I want feedback on this because I'm looking to build a tool that's like we could just easy button it. And then David, what you're saying, throw it into a website
Yeah.
and we enter all this data instead of in a spreadsheet.
That's your own creation.
Yeah, just something I threw together. I'll throw it in the chat.
To see you,
I
Sean.
like that.
Hey,
That's pretty cool.
good to see you guys. So let me know.
Awesome,
Um,
man.
any
I
more
really like
questions
that.
around it though? Like,
Yeah, so it looks, Sean, it looks to me like you're kind of backing out an
mhm,
impermanent loss calculation, kind of, sorta,
yes,
and then you're figuring out how long you've got to be in range to break even.
right.
So, I would recommend that you take a look at a piece of research that I created in school, in the school community. If you use the search bar and you type in MEV, there's a slide deck that goes through some of the risks that I think we have to be aware of as LPs, MEV extraction, and there's another one. I don't recall the term exactly right now, but basically the bottom line is that let's see here. So yes, that's the one, and there's the slide deck. So the bottom line here is that there are a lot lever. That's it. Loss versus rebalancing, which is the loss that you suffer, the unavoidable loss that you suffer as a result of arbitrage as an
Mhm.
LP. So the bottom line for me here is that there are certain assets that are so volatile that
Mhm.
it doesn't make sense to be an LP. And there are certain assets where the volumes are not significant enough or
Mhm.
consistent enough where it makes sense to be an LP. And so
Yeah.
the biggest challenge for me looking at what you've done here with Bitcoin is when I see that yield, because DeFi Tune is telling you, what your yield would be right now
Right.
today based on current volumes, current TVL, and your range. But that's super misleading though,
It is.
because
Yep.
Bitcoin is down what, like 30% from its high, and just over the last couple of sessions, it's really accelerated to the downside. So
Mhm.
volumes are likely overstated compared to their 90-day average. So what you might consider doing is rather than using, what you would earn if you're in the CLP like now,
Mhm.
that calculation from DeFi Tuning,
Yeah.
rather than using that number, if you go to metrics and you use Orca and calculate the yield that you would earn over the course of 90 days for that Bitcoin CLP or any other CLP, I would use that figure, which would likely be much, much lower, much, much smaller than the
Mhm.
DeFi tuna figure. And that would give you a better idea of how long it would take for you to break even.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
That's a good call. I'll do that. I'll do that. I like that a lot. Well,
Oh,
that's
man,
good.
I'm
That's
gonna, I'm
really
gonna
good
have to
because
take
I
a look
could,
at that, Sean.
yeah. And again, my goal is to share it with you all, like throw it on a website where we can all crunch it because, and David, I like your call out to invite more people to this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to invite more to join us here for this.
Well, thank you, Sean. Look, if you guys are getting some value from this, share it with someone else so that we have more people on the call so that we have more fun. Like, it's going to be great. So,
I have
yeah,
one
man.
question. Are you concerned about being able to take leverage against whatever your LP position is, or are you just going to operate in such a tight range that you don't really care?
Josh, were you asking me or were you asking Sean?
Sean.
That range was just an example. When I look at this, I'm looking a little bit wider ranges typically, a little bit, just because, again, this isn't me looking to beat the market. It's looking to, in a way, hedge my spot holdings that I failed to take profit on before. And so I'm looking at a strategy, okay, what range would it make sense for me to choose